guys, thank you. It's the last class.
How do you sum up 22 weeks of hell in a one-liner?
Good.
Tired.
Kind of relieved to have it done.
Very relieved. It's been a long 22 weeks.
We've learned a lot.
It seems like we've been in class forever, and at the same time, we haven't.
It doesn't feel like that. It's almost over.
There's so many things I have got to see, do, that I wouldn't have got to do if it wasn't for the fire service.
This is a very rare chance to get to do all this stuff for a rural department, for a volunteer department.
I'm going to be excited, especially when I see these guys, on runs with me. I'm going to sit there and say, I helped them.
I think we produced some very excellent firefighters.
It was definitely a great experience, to learn all this information and hopefully put it to practice out in the field and, save some property, save some lives.
I definitely feel more confident.
I hate heights and I hate confined space. The first time they got me up in a ladder, I had a panic attack in mandatory class. Now, oddly enough, ladders really don't bother me that much.
We've always been familiar with the fire side, but to actually go in and be a part of it, it's a whole new level of respect.
I mean, this is traditionally a man's job, and you being women in it, you get a lot of crap for it. We got told a lot of times that we couldn't do it, and we're like, watch us.
Just totally proving them wrong is
that
one
is
of the
nice.
greatest feelings ever.
It is a big sacrifice,
It puts strain on your relationships for sure.
We all work full-time jobs, and to sit there and spend that much time to do all this, it's very difficult.
It's a lot, and it can be overwhelming, but it's worth it.
It definitely takes a certain breed to do what we do.
It's not just about spraying water, pulling hoses, because it's tiresome. Out in that 90-degree heat, how many people would want to go out there, sweat that much, be tired that night, then go back to work?
My favorite memory, probably the friendships we've all worked towards.
Seeing them go from not knowing each other from Adam to becoming a close-knit family.
It is like family.
That was one thing I did not expect going into volunteer fire service. I expected the whole, going to fires and even the medical stuff to some degree, but the family thing kind of caught me off guard. I was like, wow, you guys are really close.
It's definitely a very family-oriented mentality.
Fire service is one of the biggest brotherhoods that you'd ever come across. There's always been the saying, if you go, we go. We will never let one of our brothers or sisters fail. We will keep picking them up until they succeed.
We're one big, happy, screwed up family.
I feel very protective of whoever is with me when we go to do something.
You have a sense both of responsibility to the person you're with and a sense of trust.
It's bigger than me.
When we do these classes together, it makes our bond a lot stronger.
The stuff that I know and the stuff that I can do doesn't just help me, doesn't just help the person trying to save it helps my team.
They can sit there and say, I know that this guy or this girl was in my class and they can do this job because I've seen them do it and I can trust them.
We have to be able to know that the person standing next to you is just as much trained, if not more highly trained than you are, and you can rely on them that if hits the fan, you got your partner, you got your brother standing right there next to you, and he ain't gonna back down.
There's a quote that I love: "Greatness is small things done well." If one guy does not perform exactly like he's supposed to, you could screw your entire team. And that's a lot of pressure to have and not to know what you're doing. You gotta know what you're doing.
Why do people do this? When you start making these runs, you see what other people have to deal with. When you go to a house fire, they're left with nothing, or they're left with memories. It's difficult to see and not care.
I've always wanted to give back to the community. I think that's important, and it's a job that needs to be done. There's other things that need to be done that I can't do. This is something I can do.
I knew I wanted to do something to give back. But it was a little more than that. I wanted to make a difference. I've always thought firefighters are cool, obviously, who doesn't?
I hope none of these guys get hurt in this job. What we've taught them should prevent that. And I feel like if somebody were to get hurt or killed, maybe I didn't do my job well enough. I want them all to go home just as much as I want to go home at the end of the day. And that's why I teach these classes, because I want to make sure everybody goes home.
When that pager goes off, you automatically think the worst, and you're going to help somebody on their worst possible day of their life.
And that's what this whole thing's about. Training your skills so you can actually do what you need to do to make somebody's worst day better.
2 years ago, I lost my older brother. And if it hadn't been for the firemen that showed up, that day was the most absolute horrible day I've ever had in my life. And them being there, they made it so much easier. Just the little things they did. I remember one of them went home and got us a phone charger because our phones were dying. And we were in Illinois and we were calling family. And it stuck with me. I didn't realize you could be on the fire department if you were a woman. I miss my brother, I do. And every time I come here, I think about him. And I think about those 3 men and what they did for him. I want to be able to make that kind of impact with some other family. I can't remember those 3 men's names for nothing, but I remember what they look like, and I don't know if I'll ever forget what they look like. Those 3 Illinois firemen are the reason that I'm here. I know my brother would call me nuts, but he'd support me doing it. He'd be proud of me.
The thing that a lot of people don't see is all the messages I get after the class. I went through this class, I saved this individual's life, or you gave me the reassurance, you gave me the confidence, which is very rewarding.
I watch Randall and I see his dedication and how much time he's put into this, and he does it for free. That's an amazing example of a true servant to their community. We really want to say thank you for that.
Most of these kids here are younger than me, and it says a lot about them that they would dedicate 22 weeks of their life to come here and volunteer to help keep their region safe. I applaud each and every one of them.
Your local firefighters need a lot of support. You don't always see everything that they do, but they really are there for you, and they would appreciate your support too.
Training never stops.
This job is continuous. You learn from the day you start till the day you quit.
When people say that they've learned everything or they don't need this, they need to go find a different profession because it's always changing.
The minute you stop training is the minute you're going to get hurt and killed.
We train for the worst and hope for the best.
It's been a privilege to see everybody grow.
It's about the drive.
It's been a pleasure being in this class.
You're in this for the long haul.
But it was fun.
It was.
All around it makes you a better person.
It's definitely worth it.
See ya.